So it's been good.
Okay. So let me show you what I got from Bonnie Jill.
You can get this over if you want to get it closer.
Okay. So I don't know if you remember at your grandmother's house, there were these big portraits. And this is your grandfather. And she has the actual portraits, Bonnie Jill did. So this was your grandfather. But you never met him, right? He died in 1926. But did she ever say anything about him?
I don't know anything about my relatives.
Really? That's just sad.
You know, I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings, but I really don't care because what I know now, I have no respect for them.
Right.
And it's too late to,
You don't want it, yes, it's very much too late to try to, yeah.
there's nothing I can do about it now,
Yeah.
you know? But as far as me respecting any of my uncles, I don't. Because
They were who they were.
they were. You know, and if you find
And
out.
what I knew about all my uncles, it's kind of hard to put anything together because it were just superficial kinds of interactions. Like we would go down and visit grandma, and we'd go down in the basement or out in the backyard and play while the adults went into the living room and talked. And then it was time to go, so there was never any real interaction between
No.
the kids and the parents.
Well, as we got older, what,
It's very-
you know, like I say, even with my dad,
This too.
Manuel, we knew nothing about him after he had left, you know, and then with all of his brothers, you know, Uncle Silver, Uncle Max, all we heard was, you
You
know,
want this?
yeah, they were hardworking guys, but they weren't well respected in the community. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and then you find out, well, you have a sister or a brother the same age as you,
Mm-hmm.
and, or you have a half-brother in California.
Right. You never even knew about
No, my
Yeah.
dad come over one time with Richard, and I had never met Richard. I didn't even know I had
She's not coming
a
back.
half-brother.
Okay.
Richard Romero? Richard Romero?
Yeah,
I
I
knew him vaguely.
didn't know him. And Rosemary and all my Lena's kids,
it. Mm-hmm.
Pat, Emily, and they were all the same age. So you know there was,
Right.
that, to me, that's,
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit much for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
What you got there now?
So there's Grandma Romero as a young
See these
woman.
pictures. Can I get around that way? Or maybe this way?
There, you gotta watch this right here.
Well, let's keep going.
All right.
I'm gonna have to move a little bit more this way.
I think I've seen these. Check it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Mhm.
It's just amazing how
Oh, yes, I
those
remember that.
pictures have been carried on all these years.
She was young. then.
Yeah, I think that was her wedding day.
Really?
Huh.
Did you know how old she was when she died? 97 is the number that we always heard was 97 when we would come and visit
She
her.
was born in 1880 and she died in 1973. So she would have been 90 something, 95 or something. Did you know your, this would be your Aunt Beatrice? She died, what year were you born?
38.
Okay, yeah, no. She died in 1918. She was your dad's godmother. And then she died shortly after that, again, because of her, she was a newlywed. They're all
Like they're lying down, so
Yeah,
it's gonna hard to tell.
well, there we go. She was a newlywed and she got pregnant. And then her husband forced himself on her too soon after she gave birth or whatever. So she died from the blood loss or whatever. Just a lot of sad stories in the family.
Sure.
Gosh.
Especially mostly for the women.
Anybody else want these? I'll put them in the refrigerator.
So this is your grandmother,
Yes,
Romero,
yes.
and then this is her father.
Really?
So this is Pablo,
Oh, no. Oh,
who,
next. Oh,
She,
oh, no, oh, no.
he fought in the Civil War, and then he was at the Sand Creek Massacre, which we just went to, the Sand Creek Massacre site. And then he lived with the family on Hugo Street until he was in his 80s. He lived a very long time. So this was your grandmother's father.
What years would those be?
He died in the 1930s.
Well, I was just
It was
curious as
before
to
you
why.
were-
Yeah, I was born in '38, so, yeah, I just never heard of him at all until you started talking
I got a
about
photo from Bonnie Jill. I don't have it on here, but it's clearly him. He's just a shriveled up old man, and you can see he's blind, and he has crutches. There's crutches on the side of the house, it was over on Hugo Street. And when you read his Civil War pensions, he says he got blind from the Sand Creek Massacre, from when the powder from the gun went in his eyes, and that he got run over by a wagon out east of Pueblo, and that's why he couldn't walk, and that he had to use crutches. So you read these pension records he turned in, and then I found this photo of this ancient man who's blind with crutches, and it's got to be him. It's a really cool photo.
And
But
what's
this
his
is
name?
Pablo
Oh,
Alirez.
there it is.
was Grandma, well, we used to call her Little Grandma,
Mhm.
but anyway, was she part Indian?
Not that I can find. His family is from Ojo Caliente in New Mexico, where they have the hot springs. His family goes back there to the
Is that Indian
1700s.
country? I mean, is it,
It was, but they were a New Mexico family. I mean, they all had native because it was only men that came over as soldiers from Spain. And then they had children with the native women. And that's why we have the dark skin and, but up until, that was in the 1500s, 1600s. And that's how our culture was established. So his family were all that type of Hispano, but it's hard to find out if they had a native ancestor more recently, like her parents and her mother was a Romero. Her name was Filomena Romero, which is why I think Aunt Thelma was actually, her real name was Filomena. And I think that's why they named Phyllis, was because of Filomena, which is your middle name, right?
right, Phil,
So her mother was Filomena Romero, and she came from Abiquiu. Her family came from Abiquiu, New Mexico, which was a big area where they created Abiquiu because when they traded slaves, like native slaves, and so they would have the native slave in their household as a slave, until they were like 30, because then they were old and not as useful. And then they just said, okay, go back to your tribe. But at that time, the tribe wouldn't take them back because they'd been made Spanish, they'd been baptized, they were Catholic, they spoke Spanish. So the tribe wouldn't take them back because they were adopted as little kids. But the Spanish community didn't want them either. So they made their own community in Abiquiu.
Oh,
So I do need to do a little digging and see if her family came from that community of people.
interesting. Oh, that's the one I remember that.
Yeah, so that's your grandfather.
She had, your grandma had a picture on the wall of that.
Yeah,
He's the one I cannot find anything about. He's my mystery man.
he's the one you thought was an angel?
Yeah, he's not though, because I did the DNA, his DNA. And we can, from the DNA, we are Romeros. Our first Romero that came over was in the 1600s. His name was Diego Perez Romero.
Right here,
And
down the hall.
Okay.
so, for example, he in 1620s he had children with native women, you know, but that's pretty far back. But so this is Pablo again as an old man, and this is Filomena Romero, his wife. Your grandma Romero's mother. She died over at St. Francis Hospital
Really?
of appendicitis.
Look at the close-up,
She looks
yeah,
like
that-
a real.
She looks like a mean woman.
She looks like a real hardy woman.
Well, because they weren't able to move, smile, they had, when they were
Well,
taking,
she was, when they got together, she was 14 and he was in his 40s.
Oh, my.
Holy
So
cow.
she probably had a rough life. So she was the two of them had 3 daughters. Did you ever know Mrs. Coca?
Yes.
So that was one of their daughters.
Oh,
So they had Mrs. Coca, her name was Ursulita.
I don't
Your grandma,
It
Tonita.
was her sister,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
And then, did you know the Lopez's? Jake Lopez?
Mhm.
His mother was the 3rd sister. So they had those 3 daughters that all lived here. And the Lopez, Jake Lopez's mother, she was a translator at the courthouse for people who spoke Spanish and needed documents translated and things like that. She worked as a translator over at the courthouse for people. So you see her signature on a lot of documents.
Because Jake Lopez and my dad, which they were cousins,
Yes.
but they worked together and socialized together. They were pretty close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
gosh.
so these are the 3 sisters. So this is Tonita, your grandma. Make that picture.
Great grandmas?
I guess. It's true.
No, it's not. So this is Tonita, your grandma, and then these are her 2 sisters. So this is Mrs. Coca, and that's Jake Lopez's mother. She was very beautiful, but she died very young.
Hmm.
And then, watch behind you, Dad, the camera's there.
Oh,
And then these are the 2 oldest daughters, your 2 oldest aunts of Tonita's. So this is Rosie.
From
yeah,
Chicago?
Rosie?
Aunt Rosie?
Really? Ah,
And that's Beatrice, the one that died when she was 18.
Yeah,
Beatrice.
she doesn't look 18.
And that's Silver. Your Uncle Silver?
Gee, I never saw him. That I remember him anyway.
And that's Pablo
Mm.
again. I guess they would take photos from different eras
Yeah.
and then paint them together. So this is his grandfather, but he wanted to be painted how he looked when he was young.
So
So
that,
not much has changed, I guess.
Can you see them doing that to us?
Do you remember Jay Lopez?
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
He resembles him, don't you think?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
No.
I don't see it. Are you talking about the guy on the left or the guy on the right? Okay, that one does have more of a Lopez resemblance than the guy on the left, yeah.
Here's Tonita. Oh, so this is
The sewing
from
machine.
Grandma Romero's house. That's
Yeah.
her sewing machine.
We had one like that.
Did you?
Yeah.
This was her
Your mom's or yours?
buffet, I
My
guess. This is the jug
Oh,
where you
the
used to have
water?
to fill up the water.
Water, yes.
Then
Used
they
to drink.
had this hanging.
Mhm.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the tin, the cup.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted water, you had to go fill it from, was it a well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That thing was heavy too.
It looks heavy, it looks
yeah,
ceramic.
it was, even empty, it was heavy.
And these are all her little knickknacks.
I'll be darned. I don't remember seeing any of it.
Bonnie Jill had,
Yep, she had all of it. This is one of Tonita's hair
Oh, somebody
combs.
else's from, or you're from.
Her rosary beads.
You have a
new text.
new,
Oh.
These photos didn't turn out
I
very
don't know.
well.
he's got a,
You might know some of these people. Let's see if I have a
Roger.
There's Bonnie Jill.
Is that March?
Is that her?
No,
Huh?
oh, it's Roger?
She
719.
resembles my sister.
Really?
Yeah.
That's, is that Bonnie Jill?
Yeah.
Let me see. On the left.
That's your daughter.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Bonnie
That's your
Jill.
daughter.
Oh, that was my daughter, not Bonnie Jill.
She hasn't changed, no.
No?
No,
She
she's
looks
that
like somebody.
same round face that I remember just,
What's that dog?
no, there's no dog. That's a plane going by.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know if you recognize these people. That's not a very good photo. I think that's Silver and Josie. Silver and Josie, and then this is another married couple I don't know. You don't recognize them.
Man, the pictures are old.
There's the chamber pot from
Yeah.
Grandma's house.
Wasn't that back bedroom, wasn't it? Or back,
Front bedroom, I thought.
yeah.
So the kids had to go empty the chamber pot.
Oh, yeah, you had to
Oh,
constantly.
Now it was way. Clear
Steve,
down
I'm
the
gonna
block.
put this in the refrigerator so that if we want some,
Okay, I think that's.
Well, it's gonna be 2 o'clock, guys.
Yeah. Oh, I met Elsie Tafoya.
Oh, I stopped by to see her one day and I didn't catch her, so. That's
Is she
Elsie
still
Tafoya.
alive?
I don't know. She was, at this time, she was.
Who?
99.
Oh, Elsie
Who?
Tafoya.
Silver's daughter.
Don't know her.
Well, she never met, she did know her father, so it's a very familiar story. But this was Silver. And Josie, his first wife.
Hmm.
But he had many wives, like all the Romeros. But not, I guess, you guys really broke the mold.
Well, whatever. The jinx has to come,
To an end sometime.
yeah.
Well, I think I'll go.
All of the older generation abusive, alcoholics, terrible fathers, you know, terrible husbands. But then your generation all seem to have changed direction. It's really amazing.
And we did it without a father,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And I think we all turned out pretty well.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Every
We
single
did,
one.
honey.
Every single one of you.
I know you're proud of all of your kids.
Oh, I am. My youngest daughter lives over here on the corner,
Oh,
Oh,
great, great. Now, which one is that?
Bernadette.
Okay, Bernadette,
She's,
okay.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
the youngest.
Now, did she come, isn't she the one that lived in Denver?
Yes.
Okay, so when did she move down here?
In a year.
Okay,
And
yeah, I know her, we know each other.
Yeah, we know her.
she retired as a teacher,
Right,
and now she's working at Human Resources.
okay.
But she has 2 children, and she's a grandma for the first time.
Oh,
Good. We have lots of grandchildren
Great grand,
and great.
What's she gonna do, take a picture? Or is she taking a picture?
9 and 9.
Do you want to look at a photo?
And,
Yeah.
no, no,